Hello everybody, today I will be talking about Black Clover. This is not a review, seeing as I have not finished the series. At this point I've only seen the first episode. I've avoided any opinion people have about this series so that everything I say here is my own. So, let's begin. And as a starter episode, this is far from the worst I've seen. It has its flaws, of course, which I will address, but there are so many things that I liked about the first episode that I'm struggling between wanting to watch more and just dropping it. But enough beating around the bush. Let's talk about plot. The story takes place in some fantasy history where magic exists, and everyone has access to it. And I mean literally everyone. At the age of 15, it is expected that you have some control over your magic. And in the first episode we get to see the overuse of magic in full effect. Not in some grand scale battle, but in some everyday activities like working on the field or heating up water. This way the world feels like it's created around the idea that magic is a thing, and not the other way around. Especially in a series where basically everyone has access to magic. Though we do get to see some very limited magic, mostly conjuring elements, creating items and manipulating objects. So I do want to see if there's anything more to it. So yeah, we don't get to see anything insane like Harry Potter's magic. Still, it's there and it's on full display. And as you can expect, I love this aspect of the world, since I want to know more about it. This is very similarly to Boku no Hero series where 80% or so has superpowers. With a premise like that, it can lead to a very exciting world building. Now, onto my biggest dislike about the series, the main character, Asta. Asta is a 15-year-old orphan living at a church in the village together with other orphans, sister Lily and father with no name. And one thing I like to mention about Asta's introduction is that it fails in every way possible to make the viewer want to sympathize with him. He is annoying, hot-headed, persistent to the border of creepiness and possibly insane. And this all in the very first minute he's on screen. But out of all of those things, his most annoying feature is his voice. It might not be a problem in the manga, but I'm talking about the anime here. And if I want to strangle a baby, specifically this baby with his own umbilical cord until the sound stops, something is wrong. Possibly with me, I need to see a doctor. Whenever he talks normal, I don't seem to mind it. And he has some scenes where I actually seem to enjoy Asta as the main character. But the moment he opens his mouth and starts screaming, I just want to shut the series off. Also, how can I talk about the main character and not mention his goal? Like every story, the main character has an end goal, and for Asta it's to become the Wizard King. I'm already drawing comparisons to Naruto and Luffy, so him wanting to be the king of a placeholder role here seems to be kind of fitting, I guess. How one becomes the Wizard King is unknown as of the first episode, but it is already shown that by becoming it you have to become some sort of magic knight or some sorts. The big hurdle, however, is that Asta, in a world full of people capable of using magic, he's unable to use it. Making him rely more on his physical strength than his magical abilities. Though it is shown later in the episode that his physical abilities are really insignificant compared to magical abilities. Somewhere I want to make like a Midoriya comparison, but Midoriya was a brainiac, he is a muscle mass, so never mind. With the main character you have also a supporting cast, and two people stood out to me. The main rival of Asta, named Yuno, A young man who's of the same age as Asta, but is actually just better in every way. He is tall where Asta is short, he is cool where Asta is hot-tempered, and he's skillful in magic where Asta is not. And the other is an orphan boy whose name I didn't catch, but the wiki page calls him Nash. And his personality is priceless. He literally gives not a single f*** about anything. And I enjoy every moment of him on screen and hope he will be an important character in the future because I love seeing more of this kid. But like I said earlier, by the age of 15, everyone should be able to control some sort of magic. That's why at that age everyone gets their personal grimoire, a book that enhances one's magic abilities. Both Asta and Yuno go to receive their own grimoire, but Asta didn't receive one while Yuno got the best one. Surprise. The one handing out the grimoire said that Asta should try next year and, well, we move on after some banter with the whole town calling Asta out on his lack of magical abilities and Yuno being a prick. Afterwards, some rich snobs want to teach Yuno a lesson since Yuno got the legendary grimoire and they didn't. But after a confrontation, they got easily defeated by the god amongst men, Yuno. So at this point, Yuno is shown as the boy who can't just do anything, but can do everything. It makes him, just like Asta, not really likable since he never seems to struggle, and even when he gets defeated, he doesn't seem to really care about it. It is hinted during the story, during the very first episode, that something happened when Asta and Yuno went out playing one time and turned Yuno in what he is today. I'm curious in how they will explore that, since that seems to be a very interesting plot point, but at this point, Yuno just seems to be like a Gary Sue. But quickly after defeating the snobs, a new opponent arrives, an ex-magic knight, who wants to steal the grimoire of Yuno, since, like I said earlier, it is super rare and worth lots of money. At this point, I'm starting to think this whole story will be about people wanting to get Yuno's grimoire, but I really hope the story will at least have some variation in it. But the first episode, literally the two conflicts are about his book. So, who knows? Well, the people who watch it know, but I don't know. So, after Yuno got defeated by the ex-magic knight, Asta came to the rescue and gets his ass handed to him. Until Asta remembers he is the main character and suddenly he gets his own grimoire. One I assume to be even more rare and stronger than Yuno's, and he's ready to fight. And that was it for the first episode. And here are my opinions about it. The moment where it wasn't focused on Asta were pretty interesting actually. The world seems engaging enough for me to actually like it. However, the biggest drawback is its main character, whose personality quickly needs to chill out. He right now is so unlikable, at least to me. I don't know how everyone else perceives him, but he just needs to go through the character arc very soon. And if he doesn't, I doubt I will continue the series. The obvious comparison to series like Naruto, One Piece, Boku no Hero, and even at the end I felt some Seven Deadly Sins vibes. It wasn't really a big turn off for me. Since I really like those series, I don't mind getting similar vibes from another series. I always say if you're gonna copy from someone, copy from the best. And Asta and this story are not like 100% carbon copies of characters. If it's a combination of several characters, several tropes, I think they can make it work if they write it really well. And I really think that this series has the potential to do it really well, but like I said, who knows. I'm gonna watch the second episode and see where it takes me. What do you guys think of the first episode? Did it draw you in? Did it make you lose interest? Tell me in the comments below. I'm Dragonfruit, and thank you for watching.